Hey folks, guns, gear, on target trading out here in Oregon. If you enjoy our content, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Comments really drive the algorithm, so share your thoughts, feelings, and feedback. We're within 90 subscribers of 100,000, so please share with friends and family and invite them to subscribe. Today, I wanted to talk about the Sig Sauer Legion pistols, specifically the 226, the classic Sig 226, and the 226 single action only, SAO. Now, SIGs traditionally have a higher bore axis than other types of guns. Their bore axis, again, the distance of the bore from the frame is higher. Now, because the Sig is a heavy pistol, that helps mitigate some of the recoil. Many people are fans of the double action semi-automatic pistol, and that's because if I chamber around and then decock the pistol, I have this long, heavy double action trigger press that I need to get through. And once I do that, I'm in single action. So if you shoot this kind of pistol, the trick is, the way you master this, is by shooting a lot of double action, cocking, dropping the hammer, and decocking. Smooth press all the way through. Got a nice center hit. See if I can speed that up just a little bit. Getting better. Getting better. Man, SIGs are accurate. That's one thing we have to give them a lot of credit for. A friend of mine who was a former DevGru operator worked with me a little bit on this pistol, and he said, look, what we want to do and what they were trained to do is they're pressing through, they're prepping the trigger, and at full extension the shot breaks. So press, break, press, break, press, break. So by the time of the full extension, when your sights are aligned, the shot breaks, the trigger cocks and drops the hammer. So proven platform, carried by Navy SEALs, many police agencies around the world, a very high quality, well-made, accurate pistol. The Sig 226 Legion in single action only is a slightly different version and my preferred version. So you will note, first of all, the trigger here, that's a 45-degree angle trigger, meaning when we break the shot, when the hammer drops, we are now at 90 degrees. And what that means is we've got better ergonomics, in my opinion, for this. The other thing that you'll note about this pistol is Sig designed it. I've engaged the safety. This is kind of cool. And I can cycle around into the pistol with the safety engage. These pistols are really beautiful. I happen to attend a lot of classes at the Sig Sauer Academy over the years, and one of the downsides of that is you get a fairly significant pro shop discount. So I ended up taking a $200 class, and it ended up being a couple $1,000 class by the time I purchased both these pistols. So my only knock, everything's great about this pistol, everything. The sights are absolutely outstanding. The ergonomics are good. Again, I'm not crazy about the high bore axis, but it is what it is. I'm sure if I had two hands and not a handicap, it would be better for me, but I do feel more perceived muzzle rise and felt recoil with the higher bore axis. That being said, this one in particular is just outstanding because every shot is in single action. And in that case, right presentation from the holster, I come up, safety is off, extend, break. And it's it's really a lovely trigger. And then short reset like that. I mean, it's just brilliant. With our double action version, right? So the first shot would be, of course, in double action. And then it'd be in single action. And again, short reset here as well. Great sights, same sight system, super high beaver tail on both these pistols. Love that, absolutely love that setup. Works really well for me. Only gripe, super small slide release or slide stop, whatever you want to call it. It is teeny. And so it's there, but man, it's hard to get to. For me, must be my hands, whatever. What I love about this double action pistol is it has a decocking mechanism. For the love of Pete, this is brilliant. There is nothing, I'm sure, quite as fun as being involved in a fight for your life, a gunfight, and your pistol is now cocked. You're in single action mode. You've given your commands, right? You're trying to get on your cell phone, and you've got to remember to decock the pistol. Now, if you were using a CZ, you'd have to lower the hammer on a live round very carefully under extreme stress. So some people don't care about that. For me, yikes. I really, really want to have a decocking mechanism. And the Sig decocking mechanism works extremely well. So you will get used to that if you practice the way you need to practice this pistol. The manual of arms for a double action pistol is chamber around decock. So the first shot will always be in double action. And for those of you who love double action pistols, you'll say, yes, of course, because I've got that long, heavy take up. And that means I'm less likely to break a shot, a negligent shot, under stress. For me, I disagree with you. That's a training issue. If you do not have the trigger discipline to be able to shoot any kind of platform and keep your finger off the trigger, unless you want to make the gun go bang, that's on you. That's a training and practice issue. Nevertheless, I get it. I own a couple of these and a lot of double action revolvers, and I like them. They're great. They just require more practice, in my mind, to quickly master. So my choice would be the Sig Legion SAO. It's really good. But I love this pistol as well. And having the pair is great from an instruction standpoint and from a practice standpoint to really be able to go and shoot either one of these pistols. Accuracy is great with them. What we're going to do now is show you a bunch of video from the range and showing the difference of these two pistols. I prefer, as I mentioned before, this trigger on the SAO versus the curve trigger on the double action version. But the curve trigger does give you, or at least me, an advantage because I'm pressing through and it gives me some leverage. That more vertical, it's not quite vertical, but that trigger setup doesn't give me as much of the leverage that I need in that double action. In terms of capacity, there is, of course, the gun comes standard with a 15 round magazine, so that gives you 15 plus 1. Sig also makes an 18 round flush fitting magazine. I've added the plus 2 extension, so that gives me 20 plus 1. And of course, if you live in a state that doesn't believe in your Second Amendment rights, it is a 10-round capacity. Bottom line is there are a lot of options in terms of magazines and capacity. And quite frankly, you know, with 15 rounds of 9mm with good quality, high quality spear, 124 plus P, or whatever poison you choose to put in that pill, the quality of this defensive ammunition in 15 or 20 rounds is worth noting. All right, let's get to the range video right now. Single action only. So much easier. Sig Legion double action pistol. Let's confirm we are loaded. We're not. All right, so from holster, same thing. I'm gonna press a shot, double action press. All right. Now you notice I'm being very mindful to decock after each shot with a double action pistol. Shooting single shots out of a holster, doing presentation, single shot presentation, you must at all times decock before going back to holster. All right, now we're going to run a magazine with a double to single action transition, so 2 shots. One of my major gripes with the Legion design, especially these 2 pistols, is the slide stop. It is so hard to get to. It is so small. So often it's faster for me just to use a power stroke when I'm swapping mags or when I'm charging the gun. All right, double action to single action. It's getting easier with my practice. One of the things a friend of mine, DevGru operator, shared with me is once you're comfortable with your trigger management and trigger control, with a double action, they're prepping the trigger during presentation and the shot breaks when they're at full extension. And that's what I was doing those last 3 times, and I have to say it was much easier. So I'm prepping, press. Prep, press. Whoops, press, miss. Decock, press. I do not recommend you doing that until you really understand. And I have to highlight this. If you transition between different pistol platforms, striker fired, single action, whatever, and you're used to prepping the trigger on one, you need to be hyper mindful when you go to a striker fired system that does not have the 8 or 10 pound pull through that double action. You can't prep the trigger, unless you're like on point. So that's just something to be mindful of. All right, Sig Legion double action. This is the 226 with the curved trigger. So I'm going to prep, press. There we go. Well, folks, there you have it. Two really, really fine pistols, the Sig Legion series, both their double action only, and of course the standard double action that people are familiar with in the Sig 226. These are some of the nicer pistols I own. Every once in a while I'll get out like I did the other day and put a few hundred rounds through each and say, wow, these are really fine pistols. If you enjoy SIG pistols, obviously there are a lot of striker fired SIG options that you have that are out there right now. There is something nice about a hammer fired gun, especially one with its pedigree, history, and just the fact that this has been around and used and beat up. Last point I would leave you, the last time I took a class, everybody was running, they weren't running the Legion, but they were running a 226 single action only. All of their instructors were running that platform. Now, that was a number of years ago. They could have gone to all polymer, their striker fired guns. But when I asked why, one of the instructors told me, he said, it's just an easier platform to consistently shoot. A single action trigger is always improved. And because the SIG's safety is really a good one and it's ambidextrous, there's no reason for them not to use it. And I have to say, those guys shoot pretty well, at least the instructors do. And they were really rocking that single action. Not speaking ill of double action. If double action's your thing, this might be the pistol for you. All right, folks, that's all we got for today. Remember, if you enjoy the content, like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate each and every one of you. Finally, and as always, stay safe.